Snow swirled through the abandoned marketplace, catching glimmers from wavering holiday lights. It was Christmas night, but the square felt hollow, as though the world had stepped away. On a frost-coated bench sat a young mother, Harper Lane, cradling her infant while her two daughters nestled close, their tiny boot-stamped trembling impressions into the snow. Harper's breath fogged the air as she whispered soothing words. Losing a husband months earlier had shattered her world. It was one collapse after another: lost job, mounting bills, and finally, eviction just 2 days before Christmas. Now, she held her children close, praying the cold wouldn't claim them before hope found its way back. Across the lot, beneath a flickering street lamp, a dark blue truck idled. A man stepped out broad-shouldered, dressed in a service jacket, his posture carrying years of unseen battles. His name was Calder Rowan, a former rescue specialist adjusting to a civilian life that felt too loud in its loneliness. His companion, a loyal shepherd named Echo, padded at his heel. When Calder noticed the fragile silhouette on the bench, something tugged at him. Instinct, memory, or maybe a call he couldn't ignore. He didn't know it yet, but this one moment of courage was about to reshape both their lives. Calder approached slowly, giving them space, while Echo sat obediently at his side. Harper stiffened the moment she heard footsteps crunching through the snow. Her daughters clung tighter, and the baby let out a soft, aching cry. Calder crouched so he wouldn't loom over them, his warm breath creating faint clouds in the icy air. He spoke gently, asking if they were all right, though the trembling in Harper's hands revealed enough. She tried to insist they were fine, but her voice cracked under the weight she had carried for so long. She apologized more than she needed to, as if just surviving required some kind of justification. Calder felt something twist inside him. He'd seen too many people forced to endure what they shouldn't. And here was a mother, doing everything she could to shield her children from a world far harsher than they deserved. He extended a gloved hand, not pushing, not demanding, just offering a bridge out of the storm. "No one should be out here tonight," he murmured. "Let me help. Even just for now." Harper hesitated. After months of loss, trust felt as fragile as thin ice. But when she glanced at her girls shivering, worn, silently hopeful, something inside her soft. Calder's eyes held sincerity, not pity. Slowly, she placed her trembling hand in his. What Harper didn't yet realize was that accepting his hand would unravel a chain of moments far bigger than a single night's rescue. Calder led them to his truck, brushing snowflakes from the girls' coats and helping them climb inside. Echo hopped in last, curling protectively at their feet. Warm air filled the cab, and Harper felt her lungs loosen for the first time in days. Calder drove through quiet streets until they reached a small cabin on the edge of town, a place he had inherited but rarely used. Inside, warmth wrapped around them like a blanket. Calder handed Harper clean quilts, warm soup, and hot cocoa for the girls. Echo settled near the baby's carrier, as if volunteering for guard duty. Harper watched the scene with disbelief: how quickly fear gave way to relief, how a stranger's kindness could soften the cold that had clung to her bones for weeks. Calder didn't press for details. He simply gave them space to breathe, to thaw, to exist without fear. Harper sensed his gentleness came from shadows of his own quiet stories etched behind his steady eyes. For the first time that night, she allowed herself to believe they might survive this Christmas after all. But safety was only the beginning. Healing would require a trust neither of them knew they still possessed. Days blurred into weeks, each one bringing small but meaningful steps toward rebuilding. Calder repaired the girls' worn boots, leaving them on the porch as a surprise. He stocked the kitchen with groceries and found an old cradle in his attic for the baby. Harper, initially hesitant to accept anything, soon recognized that Calder didn't offer charity. He offered steadiness. Meanwhile, Harper found temporary work at a local bakery. Thanks to a recommendation from Calder's longtime friend, she returned home each evening to the girls' laughter echoing through the cabin as Echo chased them through the yard. For the first time since her husband's passing, Harper felt her chest rise with something lighter than grief. Calder, too, found unexpected comfort in their presence. After years defined by duty and loss, he discovered that helping Harper and her children awakened parts of himself he thought had gone numb: purpose, gentleness, even hope. He admired Harper's strength, the way she fought fear but never let it touch her children. The cabin slowly transformed not just into a shelter, but into a space filled with warmth, noise, and second chances. Yet neither Harper nor Calder had confronted the truth simmering quietly beneath their shared days. Healing can open the door to something deeper. By the time spring unfurled across the valley, snow had melted into soft green earth, and sunlight returned with gentle persistence. Harper often stood on the porch, watching her daughters chase Echo across the field, their laughter ringing through the warm breeze. In those moments, gratitude bloomed inside her, steady and surprising. Calder spent more time outside now, repairing the fence, tending the small garden, or simply sitting beside Harper as the children played. They talked about small things, silly childhood stories, favorite foods, the weather. But between those conversations lived a silent understanding. Each had lost something unforgettable, yet somehow found comfort in the other's company. Harper caught herself smiling at Calder's dry humor, his unwavering patience, his instinct to protect without smothering. Calder noticed the way her eyes brightened again, the way she no longer carried every breath like a burden. Something was forming between them, not rushed, not spoken, but real. But before either of them dared to name it love, life would present one final test to prove whether this fragile beginning could become a lasting bond. One warm afternoon, Harper found Calder sitting on the porch steps, Echo resting loyally beside him. The children played nearby, their laughter drifting across the yard. Harper sat down beside him, brushing her fingertips over the wood worn smooth by seasons past. "You saved us," she said quietly. Calder shook his head. "No. You saved yourself. I just opened a door." Harper looked at him, truly looked, and saw the man behind the steadiness, the wounds, the resilience, the hope he didn't know he still carried. She realized he had changed her life not by rescuing her, but by reminding her she was worth rebuilding for. Calder's voice soft. "I'd like to be part of whatever comes next, if you'll have room for me." Harper felt the old fear stir, but this time it didn't win. She reached for his hand, the same way she had on that snowy Christmas night, but now with certainty instead of desperation. "We already made room," she whispered. Echo barked once, as if approving this new chapter. Harper's daughters ran toward them, wrapping their arms around both adults, sealing a moment that felt less like chance and more like destiny, gently guiding them home. And so, what began as a night of despair became the unexpected beginning of a family one built not by blood, but by kindness, courage, and the quiet miracle of second chances. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more content that celebrates the power of hope and human connection. We'll see you in the next one.